Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today I'm back, and we're going to be talking about James Blake and Lil Yachty's project, Bad Cameo. Off rip, this album was something that I had a decently high amount of expectations for. If you're familiar with James Blake, he is a very, very talented producer, in my opinion. I'm not sure what he classifies himself, but he's worked with almost every artist that you can imagine. A lot of work with Travis Scott, a lot of work with Kendrick Lamar, obviously James Blake, Metro Boomin. He's featured on a lot of projects and albums that you might not think about. He's kind of a background kind of guy, but he does have his own project as well that I really enjoyed, Friends That Break Your Heart. I think he's really, really talented. Again, he is more of a background producer, but he does have some great vocal ability, and I do think that he's a really, really talented artist. And we have Lil Yachty. Shout out Yachty, but this ain't a little boat. What can you say about Lil Yachty? What can't you say about Lil Yachty? Obviously Drake's right-hand man, a troll at times, a TV actor at times, a Sprite commercial actor at times, and an artist at times as well. Obviously, he has started his little crew with the Concrete Boys and things like that. So he's really been focusing on music lately. He's had a lot of moments where he's been considering himself a rapper, considering himself an artist, hating on the rap game, not producing anything better than what he's hating on, and also taking a dabble in alternative rap, alternative acid rap, if you will. And he's really trying to show his versatility that he believes that people don't think he has. So going into this project, again, I had pretty decent high hopes because Yachty's project was decent. His last project, Let's Start Here, The Black Seminole, Running Out of Time, We Saw the Sun. I thought this project was really well done, and it really showed off his producing abilities. And obviously, again, I'm already a fan of James Blake, and I know his producing abilities as well. So I had pretty high expectation for Bad Cameo. Off rip, I felt the album was pretty boring. Save the Savior, In Gray, Midnight, Woo, all start pretty slow. Don't really have any high moments. There's nothing wrong with them. They just didn't really excite me. I think the highlight of the album is Transport Me. I think that's the only time when both of them really showed off what they can do. That was the only time Yachty was actually rapping anything relatively decent. The rest of Yachty's bars were awful. And I think overall I had high expectations, and I'm going to be honest, this didn't meet the expectations. So getting into the grades, we got a production, I gave it a 6.5. Again, I've heard what both of these guys can do, and I think they wanted to just play the slow vibe. We're both too nice for this, so we're just going to give you something melodic and slow and chill because we're a vibe and we're two dudes who want to just vibe together, so we don't have to give you anything crazy. So there were a few moments where they really showed off their skills, but I think majority of the album, they just took it too slow and they took it too relaxed, and I didn't think they really showed off what they can do. And I didn't think that was a good idea. So a 6.5 for production. Vocals and lyrics. This is where the album really failed, in my opinion. I think every time I heard James Blake, I was like, wow, this dude can really sing. This dude is meant to be an artist. And every time I heard Lil Yachty start to sing, it felt like James Blake was forced to have his little brother on the project because his mom yelled at him and said he didn't get included in things. I think this album really highlights Lil Yachty's restraints in his skill set. He didn't have many very good bars. He didn't have very many good raps. He didn't have very many good performances. And I think he really held this album down, unfortunately, with all due respect to Lil Yachty. I gave it a 3.5 for vocals. All 3.5 were for James Blake, and Yachty got 0.5, let's say. And then the 2.5, again, Yachty can't sing. All of his bars were pretty bad, except for what was on Transport Me, and I think that was pretty bad. I think Yachty fucked this project. I can't even lie to you. Cohesion, I did give it a 10. It's only 10 songs. The vibe was obvious. They wanted to just transport me and just put me floating in space, which they did. Sound originality, also a 10. I think, again, it was pretty slow and low key production, but they did. It is a well-produced album at the end of the day. in terms of originality and what they really wanted to do. And quality, I gave it an 8.5. I think, again, both of these guys kind of just pulled the reins back because they wanted their reputation to precede them. And I just thought that they could have had a really, really strong showing, and they didn't strongly show out. So with production getting a 6.5, vocals and lyrics getting a 3.5 and a 2.5, cohesion a 10, sound originality 10, and quality an 8.5, that gives them a grand total of an 82, a B minus, which again, I genuinely think is pretty fair. I think both of these guys didn't give us their full potential and really just gave us a project just because they were bored and wanted to hang out together. I think a lot of the music at the end of the day sounds like background music, sounds like outro music. Somebody that already listened to the project told me he thought it sounded like Minecraft music. There are a few highs in the album. Again, these are two talented guys who really know how to make a certain sound. But I think overall they could have done a lot better, and I just didn't think it'd live up to my expectations. But again, that's just my expectations. So if you like the album, enjoy it, listen to it. I listened to it a couple of times. I tried to get more bought into what they were doing, but it just didn't hit the mark for me. But again, an 82 is not that bad. B minus, you're still going home happy. If you like James Blake, if you like Lil Yachty, check out the album. There's nothing wrong with it. You just might not get too excited about it, but if you do, enjoy it. James Blake, Lil Yachty, by Cameo. I'll see you in the next one.